everybody out there. This is Peter Duveen again, and this is another edition of Civil Defense. We've initiated these programs because of the increased tensions among nuclear-armed nations in the past month or so, and yet certainly there would be justification for having such a program just because of the existence of nuclear weapons and nations' ability to launch them. And certainly that is the situation right now. So basically I have decided to initiate these civil defense programs to alert people to an understanding that these weapons of mass destruction, as they are sometimes termed, do exist, that nations do have them in their military stockpiles and can launch them whenever they see fit. The fact that these weapons exist means there is a possibility, certainly, that they will be launched, and citizens should be able to take precautions in the event that they become victims of a nuclear explosion. So I've been going through a book called The Effects of the Atomic Bomb, which was issued by the government in a revised edition in 1950 in conjunction with the Los Alamos National Laboratory. It's an informative book, if sometimes highly technical. Some of my programs have relied on other sources besides this, but I think there's enough interesting content in this book to continue with my readings. Certainly, well, anyway, so that's what I shall be doing tonight. I've shortened my programs a bit so they'll be more accessible to people who don't have a half an hour. Hopefully they will gain by listening to maybe 15 minutes of the same thing. So once again, thank you for coming, and I will start my reading. What we have been going over is the condition of radiation sickness, those who have received high doses of radiation and the different effects it has on the human body. We went over how it affects the bone marrow and the lymphoid tissue, both of which are responsible for the blood, for creating blood cells. And then we've also covered something about reproductive organs and skin and hair loss, which is often a symptom of radiation sickness. And then there are some gastrointestinal problems which could result from receiving a high dose of radiation. Always remembering that 600 Roentgens of radiation is generally fatal, and 400, about half the people would die from that dose. But 200 or 100 likely survival is very good. So point being that many people who survive an atomic bomb may not have received a lethal dose of radiation, and they have a good chance of surviving or recovering from whatever damage the radiation has done to them. So let's go over some more of these, shall we say, symptoms, or shall we say effects of radiation that cause radiation sickness. Other pathological phenomena. The reticuloendothelial system comprises a group of extremely radiosensitive cells that are concerned with a variety of functions, including the formation of certain blood cells, the storing of fatty material of the body, the destruction of red blood cells, and the conversion of hemoglobin from the blood into bile pigments. These cells are found especially in the normal spleen, the lymph glands, the liver, bone marrow, and certain connective tissues. And together they form a complicated system whose vital functions are damaged or lost entirely under exposure to radiation. Injury to the cells of the reticuloendothelial system appears to account for a considerable share of the complex phenomena characterizing radiation sickness. Certain parts of the urinary tract, the muscles, and all soft tissues of the body may show subsurface hemorrhages varying in size from a pinpoint to several inches or larger. These changes are significant, for they present clinical evidence of the nature and severity of the radiation sickness. If the hemorrhages occur in important centers of the body, such as the heart, lungs, or brain, the resulting effects may be disastrous. The severity of the damage depending on the location of the large hemorrhagic lesions in relation to the tissues of the particular vital organs involved. Some hemorrhages present external signs or may be observed on special examination, such as those into the linings of the mouth, nose, and throat. Behind the retina of the eye, or into the urinary tract. Large hemorrhagic lesions may occur in the drainage tracts of the kidney, in the small tubes leading from the kidney to the bladder, and in the urinary bladder. Hemorrhages breaking through a surface layer of epithelium laden with bacteria may give rise to other effects. The tissues may become so devitalized and so lacking in resistance to bacterial infection that they make an ideal place for even weakly invasive bacteria or for those that are rarely dangerous under ordinary circumstances. This bacterial invasion may lead to serious local tissue destruction and perhaps blood poisoning and systematic infection. The normally harmless bacteria ordinarily found within the digestive tract and on the skin may actually gain access to the bloodstream and cause blood poisoning and fatal infection. Boils and abscesses may occur in any part of the body through a similar cause, but are characterized by a more localized series of events. When this form of tissue change occurs in the throat, the medical findings may resemble a condition found after certain chemical intoxications that injure the bone marrow and the reticuloendothelial system, or they may resemble those that occur in certain of the blood diseases characterized by an absence of granulocytes in the circulating blood. Agranulocytosis. In radiation sickness, ulcers may extend to the tongue, the gums, the inner lining of the mouth, the lips, and even the outer part of the skin of the face. These ulcerations may occur independently of any associated local hemorrhagic change. Throughout the entire gastrointestinal tract, similar changes occur and appear to become established on the same basis. Within the lungs, a form of pneumonia may develop, different from most pneumonias in the almost complete absence of infiltrating leukocytes. So there we have a medical prognosis of lesions that may form in different parts of the body due to exposure to radiation and its effects on what they call the reticuloendothelial system, which I had never heard of before, but apparently it's a rather important system. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave it at that now. That's food for thought. Hopefully you never have to deal with these lesions, but I think we will also get some information later on of how to deal with some of these physical problems that develop as a result of exposure to high doses of radiation from an atomic explosion. So thank you very much for listening in this evening. I will be back tomorrow night as well, probably around 10 o'clock. I'll post my video on Facebook. And that's all I have to say for now. Hopefully see you tomorrow night. This is Peter Devine signing off for Civil Defense. Thank you.